Kia has a lot of heavy hitters in every segment it competes in. Today, let's take a look at the all-new 2016 Sorento and see if the company was able to address a lot of the issues of the old model. So the Sorento name has been around for a few years now. The company first introduced this SUV all the way back in 2003. And back then, the first generation, it was a truck-based, smaller SUV that had a low-range transfer case. So it was actually a real SUV. Now, that generation, it sold pretty well. It basically put Kia on the map in terms of SUVs. The original Sportage was the company's first SUV, which was a pretty crude vehicle. Now, for the larger Sorento, when Kia introduced the second generation, I actually showed you guys that model when the company updated the car in 2014. I liked it. There were a couple of things I had issues with the old model that Kia seems to have addressed for this all-new generation. Now you can see for this new 16 model, the third generation, Kia took a lot of, or made a lot of changes to the design. It's a very nice evolution with some new features here and there. You still have the company's signature tiger nose grille at the front. These headlights look very nice, the swept back design. And then of course my particular limited tester does have these LED fog lights with a sort of like egg crate shape individual housing for each of the LED lamps. Now, the Sorento actually comes in 5 different trims. There's the base L, LX, EX, SX, and then the limited. You guys can get this car in either 5 or 7-passenger configuration. If you guys want the 7-seater, you're gonna have to go with the V6 option. There's 3 different engines available: the 2.4-liter base engine, the 2-liter turbo like my tester, and then the 3.3-liter V6 like in the previous generation. Now you can see this car is a little bit bigger than the old model. It's about 3 inches longer in wheelbase and overall length. These particular 19-inch wheels on my limited tester look great. They fill out the wheel wells really well. And I'm also glad Kia didn't go with the gaudy chrome finish that they usually do on these limited models. Now, coming around back, the car almost has a minivan-like appearance in the rear. These taillights sort of mimic the current generation Dodge Durango. So those of you who don't really like the minivan look, this very closely resembles Kia's just redesigned Sedona minivan. Now, these LED taillights come standard on the SX models and up. And then, of course, you do have the nicely integrated or the nice finished chrome exhaust outlet in the back, finishing out the rear. And overall, I think the proportions of this SUV are pretty nice. It's smaller than vehicles like the Toyota Highlander, the Honda Pilot, the Ford Explorer, and about the size of a Nissan Murano and Ford Edge, and those are basically this vehicle's main competitors. Just like the exterior, the interior of this all-new Sorento has also been nicely upgraded. If you guys haven't spent any time in a recent Kia product, stepping inside any of their current design languages will certainly impress you. You can see my particular tester has the Merlot red interior. It works very well with the titanium silver exterior. It's a really nice combination. Now, stepping inside the vehicle, this car has one of the easiest step-in heights in the class. It's one of the reasons why a lot of Americans definitely like this type of vehicle. And of course, you can see you have a very nice commanding view of the road. When you shut the door, it has a pretty nice solid funk to it. So I'm pretty impressed with the interior of this all-new Sorento. Now you can see, here's the key for the vehicle. It's Kia's smart key access system. If you guys want the push-button start and the intelligent key, you have to go for the EX with the convenience package just to get that feature. Now, as you can see, just put your foot on the brake and then push the engine start stop button to fire up the engine. And you can see the gauges, they have the typical Kia look to them. I'm not really necessarily a fan of the font, but you can see the speedometer is actually an LCD display, while there are 2 traditional analog gauges to your left and to your right. Now, looking at the rest of this cabin, you can see here, Kia upgraded the materials in here versus the previous model, so they definitely improved it. You have a soft touch dash material on the upper portions here with the actual stitching. I'm not sure if it's really leather, but it feels good, it looks good. This portion right here is all soft touch. Everything in here fits pretty well, and while the design certainly certainly may not appeal to everybody. I think it looks stylish. It kind of reminds me of the Kia Soul, which I really like the interior of the Soul. You can see all the controls are pretty simple to use. The door panels are also soft touch up here in the upper portions, and then leather stitching here where your elbows are going to rest. I like that Kia gives you automatic up down for all 4 of the windows, so it's a nice element or design touch that they gave you, a nice luxury feature. And you can see here the company's UVO Your Voice infotainment system is included on this limited model. If you guys want this 8-inch touchscreen, you have to go for the EX with the technology package to get that screen. Now you can see here it's a really good size. This is the home screen pretty much, and you can show your audio sources there, your nav, and then some other menu options there. Going to your radio settings here, you have your traditional XM, AM, FM. You do have HD radio. You do have Kia's SoundHound, where we'll listen to a song that's playing and it'll tell you who plays it. You can also have the option to record the music and then store it onto the integrated hard drive here, so that's a pretty cool feature to have. Now, the touchscreen, in terms of its responsiveness, it works pretty well. It relatively works pretty quickly. It has really good sized buttons. Going to the map button here, you can see the map displays. Traditional Hyundai Kia. It's nothing really special. It doesn't give you an actual 3D view, which I'm a little disappointed by. You just kind of have that top-down view, but it gets the job done. It's nothing fancy in terms of the infotainment display. Hyundai and Kia saved that for their upper level cars. Now, I like the hard buttons down here. You do have a very nice large knob here for your climate controls for the temperature, a nice volume and tuning knob here, so Kia did it right there with the ergonomics. You do have some more buttons down here. You have heated and cooled seats, a heated steering wheel. There's no heated rear seats though, which is surprising because Kia offers it in the Hyundai Elantra, or Hyundai offers it in the Hyundai Elantra, for example, some of the lower models. But looking at this new steering wheel, it's rather large in diameter. It's an electric power steering system. Now, looking at the rest of the center stack here, you can see here when you put this vehicle in reverse, you do have a nice backup camera with a surround vision system. This is included with the SX Limited technology package. It's a pretty good camera system, a lot better than a lot of more expensive cars I've tested. For example, that Range Rover Sport had a much crappier looking display than this Sorento, so it's nice that Kia gives you that features. There's also sensors front and rear that's included. Now, a 6-speed automatic is your only transmission choice. Included on every model. There's no manual available like in the first generation and such. You do not get paddles on the wheel. You do have a drive mode here where you can alter between a eco, a sport, and then a normal setting. And then of course there's other buttons here. You can turn off your parking sensors. That will turn on your the surround vision system when you're at low speeds, and then of course there's an auto hold and an automatic parking brake, and then you can lock the 4-wheel drive system or all-wheel drive system in a 50-50 split. I really like where Kia puts the USB and then the aux port and the power outlets, because you can basically just put your stuff in there and then close this, and then you can hide your valuables in there. The center console here does not adjust, but it does open up. It does have a pretty decent size. Another USB port is in there, and then of course I really like this big pano sunroof that Kia gives you on this limited model, and it is standard on the SX trim levels and up. Now, checking out the rear seat, this is also an area where the Sorento is very spacious, and it has a lot of room versus any other vehicle in the class back here. You can see the floor is nice and flat. You do have very easy step in height, just like the front seats, and lots of legroom. So this car is very, very comfortable for four people with 2 people in the back. You have nice vents back there. Another actual household power outlet down there with another USB and a cigarette lighter there, or a 12-volt outlet there. Now, shutting the door, you do have the same soft touch materials from the front, leather stitching right there. And then of course Kia gives you the nice sunshades right there, the manual sunshades if you want to block out additional sunlight. Now, included on the EX trim level and up, basically this is what Kia calls their smart liftgate system. Just keep the key fob on you when the vehicle is locked, walk up to the car, and in 3 seconds the car will start beeping, and it'll actually open the tailgate for you automatically. Just imagine if you have a lot of stuff in your hands, the tailgate will open. If you don't want it to open, kind of just back away from the car and it'll stop doing that. Now you can see when the tailgate does open, it does reveal a good amount of cargo space. This car does not have the 3rd row seat because it's the 4-cylinder turbo, but you get about just under 40 cubic feet with the 2nd row seats up. Fold them down, you get just under 74 cubic feet of space, which is more than the Murano. I want to say it's a little bit more than the Edge, more than the Cross Tour and the Venza, which is actually being discontinued later this year. So you can see here this car is a very practical car, and it does offer a lot of versatility. Looking underneath here, you do have some nice under-seat storage, and then you'll find a spare tire located underneath the vehicle. A new engine for 2016. This is the company's 2-liter turbocharged GDI 4-cylinder direct injection turbocharged double overhead cam. Now this engine, you'll find it basically in the Kia Optima. It's the same engine that I showed you guys in the Hyundai Sonata 2.0T. In the Sorento, it makes 240 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque. This is the mid-level choice. The base engine is a 2.4-liter direct injection four-cylinder with 185 horsepower. And then, of course, the 3.3-liter is the upgrade engine from here that offers 290 horsepower. Now, with this engine, this car will tow up to 3,500 pounds. Fuel economy has improved from the old model. Unfortunately, for this four-cylinder with all-wheel drive, it's rated at 1925, which honestly is a little bit below the class. The new Ford Edge does better. The new Murano does better with its V6 engine and CVT. Now, this car comes in either front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Let's get out on the road and see how this turbocharged four-cylinder moves around this vehicle. Now, almost 2 years ago, Kia actually gave me a 2014 Sorento SX Limited with the V6 to show you guys, and I was quite impressed with the car. I thought it had a couple of issues that could be addressed. So for this redesigned 2016 model, let's see if the company listened and fixed some of the problems with the old model. Now, my initial impressions with this 2016 is are pretty positive. I was actually a big fan of the 3.3-liter V6 and the 14 that I drove, and the Kia didn't really change the engine for this generation. But this 2-liter turbo is certainly a nice middle ground. Now, the 2.4 I always found it to be pretty underpowered, but the nice mid-range torque of this 2-liter turbo will certainly appeal to a lot of buyers. Now, the handling is also what Kia has been working on. The steering in this car, while it's very light, it's electric power steering, it is pretty precise. It's not as numb as the previous generation for sure. So this car is sort of a little bit more fun to drive. The suspension still is very soft. I mean, this is a family vehicle, so you're not going to be, tacking corners and treating this thing like a sports sedan like I would. But it's not bad. It's competent and it's secure, and it's not very confidence-inspiring, but you don't feel like the car's going to flip over or anything like that. Now, just cruising down the road, the ride quality is where Kia actually fixed this car by a huge margin over the old model. The old Sorento crashed over bumps. The 19-inch wheels just transmitted so much harshness into the cabin. And even with this model's 19-inch wheels, Kia really fixed the suspension. The car glides over the crappy roads here in the DC area just fine. And it's pretty quiet in here too. So in terms of the level of refinement, the level of luxury, Kia has really upped its game here with this new Sorento. And the old model, Kia liked to compare it to the Lexus RX 350, which that's a pretty big benchmark. It's one of the best-selling luxury vehicles in the class. Now, this is not on the same level in terms of luxury, of course, but those of you who are on a budget looking for a budget RX, this car certainly feels like it. The car just glides down the road. It's very nice. The interior has a much more premium feel to it. The view of the road is also very good. I mean, look at this nice unobstructed view. You have very large side mirrors now. Even though this car has really excellent visibility, Kia didn't skimp on the driver assistance tech. My particular tester does have the technology package for $2,500. You get the adaptive smart cruise control, which will follow the car in front of you in traffic, and it'll even come to a complete stop. You have lane departure warning, forward collision warning, blind spot monitoring, that 360-degree camera. Really, this car is just missing active safety. It doesn't have any active lane keep assist. It doesn't have automatic forward collision warning where it'll actually will hit the brakes for you. This car would kind of just beep at you. It won't actually apply the brakes. You still have to do that on your own. But I mean, overall, I'm pretty impressed with the driving dynamics of this car. It's very refined, it's very comfortable, it's very luxurious. The technology that they included in this car is also great. I mean, it's basically on par with what you're going to get in a Ford Edge, a Nissan Murano. And by the way, the Sorento, the Edge, and the Murano, all of them are really the top sellers in terms of the mid-size crossover class. Now, the Kia has its own unique selling feature with the optional third-row seat. The Murano and the Edge don't offer it. And then, of course, like I said earlier, Toyota and Honda have actually left this market. The Venza and the Cross Tour are going to be discontinued for lack of sales, whereas the Sorento and the Edge are consistently the top sellers. Kia sells over 100,000 of these every year. Along with the Ford Edge, they're constantly trading places. Unfortunately, Nissan's Murano only sells about half that, but with the redesigned model, the company may be looking to take a little bit more of that sales pie. Now, with 240 horsepower on tap, this car feels like it would hit 60 in maybe like slightly under 8 seconds. It is a little bit soft initially off the line, where this car sort of feels like it has turbo lag, but the 6-speed automatic transmission is really to blame. It's a very soft transmission, and I find that it doesn't shift very quickly. It's not very intuitive at times. It seeks its top gear for fuel economy, which is kind of annoying. But this car is certainly not going to be blowing your mind away with mind-blowing acceleration. But I mean, the acceleration of this car is adequate and it's enough for most people. But personally, I probably would still go for the V6. Now, even in the sports setting here, you can see this car is not really going to be super fun to drive on these corners. It's not bad, but like I said before, the suspension's very soft. But Kia really did up the driving dynamics. If you guys are looking for the most fun to drive vehicle in this class, make sure you look at the redesigned 2015 Ford Edge, especially the sport model with its twin turbo 2.7 liter V6 option. Now, coming up to the conclusion of this review, I have to say I'm pretty impressed with this 2016 Sorento. Kia basically took all the issues that I had with the second generation model and fixed them. The ride quality was one of them, and that's a big complaint especially for families that buy this car. You want something with a softer ride quality, and Kia certainly has addressed it. Now, my complaints with this generation are few. The 2-liter turbo engine, while it's a good mid-range engine choice now, the fuel economy isn't necessarily what I'd call mind-blowing. The Edge has the same 2-liter turbo as standard, and Ford rates that engine much better fuel economy, about 21.28. The Murano also gets 21.28 as well. So this all-wheel drive model rated at 19.25 is not the best in terms of its fuel economy. And the reason being is Kia actually did increase the weight for this generation. It's about 100 pounds heavier versus the old model, which isn't much, but I'm a little disappointed to see the company couldn't improve the fuel economy even more. Now, in my real-world testing around the city, I've been averaging about 16 miles to the gallon, which with my lead foot in this crappy traffic here in DC, that's about what I expected. On the highway, I did get it up to about 24, so I'm disappointed that I couldn't get it up to 30 miles per gallon. Those of you with a little bit of more of a restrained right foot may be able to do better, but I really think Kia needs to up the fuel economy. Now, in terms of the price, the Sorento starts at just under $25,000, which sounds like a bargain. It's pretty cheap, to be honest, which offers that strong Kia value quotient. But of course, Kias today have gotten really nice, and they've also gotten a little bit more pricey. They're about the same price as the competition. This particular limited model that I'm driving starts just under $40,000. Now, of course, that's missing a couple things. If you guys want all-wheel drive, it's almost $2,000 more for all-wheel drive. I think that's a little pricey. I think Kia should be charging maybe about $1,100 for all-wheel drive. And then, of course, the technology package that my tester has is about $2,500 more. Add those two features in, and this car is about $45,000, and that's a lot of money. It makes about $4,000 more than the 2014 Sorento that I tested 2 years ago, which is a pretty big jump. This is actually about a little bit more expensive than a Murano now. The new Murano fully loaded, it's about 44, 45 as well. The Ford Edge, the new one, will probably be a little bit more expensive than this. If you guys go for the V6 engine option, it's another like $1,000 on top of it. So this car, all out, like my tester with the V6, will be about $46,500, which is a pretty good amount of money, to be honest. It's going to be a sticker shock, so I would probably recommend sticking with the lower trims, the EX model, with the tech and the convenience package. That's going to run you about $39,000, which puts it more in line with what you expect. If you guys don't want like the leather, the big sunroof, the navigation, all the tech, you can get this car into the mid $30,000 range, which is probably where most people are going to buy this car. I mean, at that price, I think it's a really good value. You have Kia's more excellent warranty. You have a very spacious cabin, really refined driving dynamics, and I think this is one of the best vehicles in the class. I prefer it to the 2015 Murano that I showed you guys a few months ago. So if you guys are in the market for a mid-size crossover like this, make sure you check out the new Sorento. It's certainly worth a look. If you guys are also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, make sure you follow me on Instagram, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel so I can keep giving you more of these reviews. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you all in the next video.